日本時間31日、ドジャースの大谷翔平は本拠地、カージナルス戦に2番指名打者で先発出場。初回の第1打席で、打球速度 113.9 マイル、約 183.3 キロの右前打を放ち、この驚異的な打球速度がアメリカで多くの注目を集めています。米メディアもその速さに衝撃を隠せない様子で、地元紙ロサンゼルスタイムズのドジャース版を務めるジャック・ハリス記者は、
過去2年間、113マイル、約 181.9 キロ以上の打球初速を記録したドジャースの選手は一人もいなかった。今週に2度も翔平・大谷が記録した。
と言及。また、大谷は日本時間29日に行われた本拠地デビュー戦でも、元巨人の相手先発マイコラスから強烈な右前打を放ち、これも打球速度は113マイル。MLB 公式データサイト、ベースボールサバンによると、現時点で全選手最速の打球速度と発表されていました。そんな中、137年以上にわたり南カリフォルニアをカバーする国内最大の日刊紙ロサンゼルスタイムズのポッドキャスト番組でも、ドジャース討論会が行われ、大谷トークを展開。さらに、ベッツ、大谷、フリーマンの MVP トリオのニックネームについて、新しいニックネームは何がいいか、などユーモアを交えながら話し合いが行われていましたので、日本語字幕付きでご紹介していきます。
The first day of the freeway series, he goes out to visit old Angels teammates, and you kind of see him laughing, and when he said goodbye, kind of making these exaggerated waves. After the news conference, on Monday, he went out and played catch, throwing the ball for the first time since he underwent Tommy John surgery. And today, just again, he goes out, right, gets a couple of hits, a double that could have been a triple, hits the hardest hit ball by a Dodger player since 2021 on that fifth inning single. After the game, slips on the headset, does a interview with NHK of Japan. And again, this is a guy who only used to talk on days he pitched when he was with the Angels, goes back in the clubhouse, basically addresses a press contingent of somewhere between 50 to 100 reporters, and was very, again, even after, one of the PR guys called out last question, I kind of yelled something over the top, they were talking, right, the Japanese press is kind of going second, and, I was part of that group, and somebody kind of asked him about, where he was in terms of, jet lag and stuff, and, I threw like one last question to him about, exactly how many hours he slept yesterday, and, again, he smiled, he answered it with a smile on his face, so, if this thing is affecting him, he's certainly not showing it at all. Maybe he is completely unaffected by it. Regardless, it does seem that, maybe, whatever is going on there, the on the field stuff and off the field stuff, he's kind of been able to separate and, just given again, right? Phil Nevin, the Angels former manager, used to call him, right? Used to say he was the strongest minded player he's ever been around. And so, I don't think it's going to, this controversy, whatever, happened and all that stuff, I don't think it's going to affect him. I am starting to wonder, though, will it affect the team? And, Jack, you saw some stuff a little bit after the game.
I mean, to describe the post-game clubhouse scene it was like, it almost felt like a packed club in some ways. In some corners of the room, I was trying to do a head count on how many reporters were in there, but somewhere definitely more than 50. I think maybe at times even a little bit closer to 100. You had a lot of cameras in there. Ohtani is known to not like going into interview rooms. So he wants to do his scrums in the clubhouse, in the middle of the room where they set up a backdrop. And what happened post game is you had, dozens of reporters rush in very quickly after the game ended. And I think for the first time, that scene kind of impacted the rest of the team in a way we haven't seen, right? You had guys coming out of the shower, trying to get changed, and reporters everywhere in every corner of the room, especially if you were around Ohtani's locker, or if you were in the back corners where Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman get changed. You could tell that guys were uncomfortable with how many people were in there. We're wondering why this wasn't happening in the press conference room with Ohtani. We're wondering if this is going to be, the new status quo for them this season. And this is something where, when you watch the game today, when you talk to the players this week, as this whole Ohtani situation has been going on, I think the scandal and uncertainty around the scandal itself isn't going to directly impact guys. Like Freddie Freeman joked that, he's not thinking about Ipe Mizahara when he's in the batter's box during games. But there's a lot of ancillary things that go along with it. And the longer this kind of drags out, the longer that the questions that Dylan asked him remained unanswered, the more that this just hangs over everything. It might not be a huge deal. Maybe it was just like, this is a one-time thing where you have this huge press corps here for opening day, for the Ohtani part of all of this.
But I'm amazed, as Dylan pointed out, I'm amazed as well as he played today. The top three in the order, that's what I wrote about in my column. The big three, I call them dread, doom, and destruction. They're unbelievable.
Who's who?
Mookie was dread, Ohtani was doom, and Freeman's destruction. So I had to. I don't think that's going to stick, but I figured I'd give it a shot. they combined for like to score 6 runs, drive in 5 runs, hit 2 home runs, walks, singles, running the bases. It was unbelievable. They dominated the game, and if they can do that on any kind of semi-regular basis, I mean, this team is going to be very powerful. It's amazing. They were better than anticipated, earlier than anticipated. I was just stunned.
Yeah, watching this game, especially in comparison to the 2 Korea games where there were some sloppy play and sometimes where the offense went really quiet, like today is what you're envisioning from this team if you're a Dodgers fan, right? It was the top 3 and really top 4 when you add in Will Smith. Every time they came up, they were creating a threat. They were getting guys on base. They were scoring runs. They were playing the paycheck baseball that Miles Mikolas, the Cardinals starter, had, kind of accused them of or criticized.
Miles Mikolas, who makes $16 million a year.
Checkbook baseball.
Checkbook baseball. For a guy making $16 million a year.
Yeah, right. Yes. Like, this is a team that looked like it had a $1 billion investment this offseason, that it brought in the kind of missing pieces it needed. And that's the thing that if you're a Dodger fan and you had or a player, and you've gone through this whole kind of hectic spring and this whole Ohtani story and all these other things kind of leading up to this day, to still have that moment where the team looked as good as it did, where the crowd was as raucous as it was for Ohtani's introduction and his first at-bat, and even when he got thrown out going between second and third base. Like, as far as the baseball part was concerned, I think that today was about as good as you could have hoped for if you're part of the Dodgers.
Yeah, it was crazy, the fact that they started like this. I felt like the Cardinals were out of the game in the first inning. It felt like Dave Roberts called the big 3 daunting, is the word he used, and that's certainly what it was. The Cardinals were daunted early. I mean, it seemed like after they were down 2-0, felt like 10-0. Felt like the game was over after the first inning because the big 3 just put it to them.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is you walk one of these guys, and it just kind of starts to snowball pretty quickly from there. So yeah, I think this team's going to score a ton of runs. I mean, we didn't really see. I mean, I guess today, right? Give them credit for playing good defense, I guess,
But again, we hadn't seen how this team would look playing at its best yet. And today, at least, was sort of like that proof of concept, right? That if you put these 3 superstars at the top of the lineup, if you have, a true frontline talent kind of pitcher atop the rotation, that when things are clicking, you can look really dominant. And even against a team like the Cardinals that is trying to compete for the playoffs and isn't, that's not going to be a last place team. Like you said, Flasky, like, within the first 10 minutes of this game, it absolutely felt over based on the way Glasnow was pitching, based on the way the top of the lineup mode through Mikolas their first time through. And I think also just based on the environment here and how invigorated this crowd seemed to be able to see this team in person for the first time.
Guys, we're going to have to come up with a nickname for these 3 players. I don't know if Doom, Dread, and Destruction is going to work, but something's got to. We got to come up with something. But ask the readers, ask the viewers, ask the listeners. Send us your ideas.
Yeah,
we can't call them the big 3. That's like basketball. That's it. That's LeBron and Bosh and Dwayne Wade. We can't call them the big 3. That's
the MV3.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. That's pretty good.
This is going better than when we tried to name this podcast thing. Remember
Dodgers. Yeah, I'm still not. Every time you say Dodger debate at the beginning of this, like, I always kind of cringe, to be honest.
I like it. No, I think the podcast we're doing good. All right, sleep on Dread, Doom, and Destruction. Sleep on that.
All right.
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe in the comments. Maybe we should rename this thing the Dodgers Potscast after
Potscast.
After our producer Mark Potts.
That is good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm not. I don't know. I'm still not sold on Dodger debate. I'm sorry, guys.
I like Dodger debate. I think it works good. You guys do a great job.
We're not really debating here. We're all in agreement.
We will debate during the season. There will be much debate.
Yeah.
Because Dylan, you're going to back Ohtani at all costs.
Yeah, today's was easy. The Dodgers look good. This Ohtani stuff is not adding up. Like, we were in agreement on this one.
In
So,
Japan, I'm
maybe
known now as a notorious Otani hater now. These
You
people
are?
like,
Oh.
oh, these people are killing me
I'm-
on Twitter.
I'm
X.
sure our American readers will be shocked to learn that.
To learn that.
Dylan being mean.
Otani, I heard Otani hired a new defense team, Hernandez and Hernandez.
He's very polite. He's very polite, no comment.
これからも大谷の活躍から目が離せません。皆様からのコメントもお待ちしております。